he's more like trying to be like a mentor, I guess, to her and her daughter. It's like, you seek the battle, I seek victory, old man! Victory! It's like, he's like, you're an idiot. Now, like, he's like, you're a fool. Foolish young girl. You're naive. Yeah, he was clearly right there. No, but I like, that was great though. That was a really good line though. That was a fantastic line. She's just like, no, I don't seek war. I don't seek the battlefield. I seek win! Yeah, I will victory, everyone. It's a good line, but obviously his point, right? Old grumpy father-in-law here. His point is like, no, you're an idiot. Like you know, if you go to the battlefield, your troops will die. The enemy will die. People will die, right? But she's just like naivety, be like, oh no, I will win with no casualties on our side at least. Yeah, he's just like, oh, you're a fool. You're a fool's errand. So, but it's a great thing, and it kind of goes back to we saw his flashback to how his film would react, right? But he's kept following Talo after his daughter died and so on, or get like a crypto frozen, whatever, so forth, right? But he kind of tried to kind of give them advice here earlier, right? It's like, nah, that's a stupid plan. Yeah, I cannot do that. So in this video, guys, we talk about math, right? There's a very classic example in dynamic mathematical modeling with quills and whales. So I'm more in the review parts, but basically, I want to sit here again, guys, right? When I'm trying to make Arknight videos, Arknight very focused on the war, effort, peace, redemption, so on, right? This episode here focuses about hatred and revenge, but also like survivability, pragmatism, right? How, as a leader, how they have to control a country, whatever. So I really liked the bit because Taloa, in the beginning of this flashback, is too naive, she's too pragmatic, and that will cause issue here when more people will die, right? She's too nice to everyone. She can't make any real hard decision making, right? Which actually leads to more people dying, but eventually, because so many people are dying, they have more food and so on, and people are going up again, right? So it's kind of like a dynamic mathematical issue where it's like, just like the animals, if you have all of one animal surviving too long, right, they will destroy whatever is their food source, right? So the anime can actually go into that because she makes everyone survive too much in one area and refusing to remove anyone. Eventually all the humans have no food left, you know what I mean? So interesting episode, I think, a lot. Hope you like the video, please subscribe, like button, let's check it out. Talo is still nice now. It's like happy days here. No one is killing anyone yet. Yeah, probably impossible. We can never get back to peace. Seek equality by war. Here we go. No, but I get it, she's like, we have to kill the other ones, right? They have to take over the power. Yes, everyone's struggling against fate or brave. I mean, kinda. I don't know. It's actually kind of interesting. So Taloa is up an interesting point, right? Everyone that fights your fate is brave. But I don't know. I kind of feel it's like a natural self-perseverance thing. But I suppose that, honestly, for me, there's a little bit of a half-glass full guy kind of thing. So I feel that people that don't fight their own, oppression or whatever are cowards. That's what I usually feel, honestly. Yeah, I see it more the opposite way. For me, it's like the natural state of your, being is to, I'm being suppressed. Someone's enslaved me or whatever. I'm gonna fight my oppression, right, Everything to survive and get out of this thing, you know what I mean? That I think should be the natural state, right? But she is like everyone that does that is brave. I see it more like everyone else is a coward that doesn't fight. It doesn't try to, overcome whoever is holding you down, right? Yeah. And I maybe that's negative by me, but actually I think it is more like I think it's more people are just so, honestly, cowardly, right, A lot of people can have so much better life with very little effort. That's probably what I feel with it, because usually people have, it usually is like low-hanging fruits, where you could massively improve your life, your career or whatever, or like your relationship with like your wife, husband, whatever, right? With very little effort. So I think that's probably more. There's more people who are lazy and just cowards, and they have so little they have to do to actually have a better life, in my opinion. No, but I talk about all the time, right? That's why I made some videos about that with anime, where I love the concept of loving little things, being happy for little things, right? Happy for the simplicity in life. Like I got this mouse box, right, for this new mouse, and the box has a really cool design that shows how the box works, and that made me happy for like a day. I was like, oh my god, look at this box, I think a lot of people just have so I'm not negative, It's more that I feel other people are negative in the way that they don't see opportunities, right? Yeah, that's my point, right? They don't see opportunity of life. Instead, they are cowardly and meek, and they are just hiding from just taking any kind of risk in life. So I don't think people are brave that take the opportunity. It is more to me that people that don't do anything are cowards or just lazy or whatever. A little bit similar for me when it comes to like people that say they're brave, doing heroic stuff. Where I again probably feel a lot of people are just cowards. Like I do a lot of stuff in life that people say, oh, this is brave. You jump in to save this person or whatever. The street, I'm like, yeah, that's not brave for me. That's like a natural progression. I feel everyone else is just cowardly not doing anything. Not much of a bystander, not really. But she's like, yeah, would you maybe change your fate if you go all crazy? Yeah, that's true. I will never bow my head. This Itala is like, I will always fight everyone. That's kind of why she turned evil. She's like, I will never change my mind. Ever! Yeah, see, this is what happens when you're too brave. She's just like, I will always keep fighting. Forever. Oh my god, did I burn? She's like, you're a good leader, but you're shallow. Yeah, you become more superficial. My god, this is a hardcore burn, man. She's just like, you have become limited in your worldview. Yeah, you're too black and white. Yeah, but that's probably what happened, right? Classic war girl. She's been fighting the war too long. Now she sees everything, and you know, everything just, nothing is gray anymore. Everything is black for her. It's a good point. She's like suing. So about fate, the threads of fate, right? Yeah, she's like suing at the same time here. And she's like, this is a thread of fate. So it's clearly on purpose there. Yeah, it's back to what Kashiei planted in her. Yeah, like the evil snake guy made you evil, right? But you gotta fight that evil guy. The ALINA keeps trying to make her, yeah, but it's like ego, right? She's like, maybe you should change your mind once, just kill everyone that's against you. Yeah, maybe see a little bit graceful once. She's trying to like, I don't trust you. He's not poison. Spicy. Come on, they're like a rom-com now. These two bad girls are in love. We all know they're a Yuri, man. Yeah. These are the two bad girls, so they're like, you know, actually a lesbian couple, of course. Yeah. Oh, arigato. Oh, Talo-chan. Oh my god, these two are so lovers, man. Of course the bad girls are actually love each other. You saw that Fic 2 they were fighting and they fell love each other. Jesus Christ, man. Here we go. Can you bear the pain? But this is kind of like how she turns evil, right? Because it's like he's saying, like, well, if you're gonna do this thing, we're gonna kill a lot of, you know, people and so on, right? You will turn into the bad girl. So she's gonna have, this is like the, you know, the falling of evil here. You will become what you hate, right? It's kind of, you stay into the AB. It's like, well, if you do this thing, kill all the civilians, and you are the evil one, blah blah, so right. This guy's gonna stay now. They're not naive like her. Like, we don't have food. Like, we're gonna stay here and make a house or something. Okay, they're gonna be like sacrifice themselves here, cause she can't make. But that's her problem. She's like too naive. Yeah, she's gonna go from like being too nice of a leader to a complete psychopathic, sociopathic dictator, right? Like seriously, yeah. She's too nice currently. Is that the storyline? And then she's gonna lose people because she's too nice, right? And then yeah, now she has to leave people behind. They have to like abandon, like leave by themselves. And that's gonna make her go crazy because she's like failing too much. She's too nice, right? I feel ALINA will die now. She's gonna say that, right? She's gonna be like, I'm gonna go and pick up some food or something. Yeah, if she get, this is probably when she dies. Don't worry about me, girl. It's not war here. This is probably when she dies. Oh, not ALINA! Not Team Mom! Obviously, yeah, now ALINA will die now. This is when she's gonna turn mentally insane, right? This is when she loses her best friend, Mommy. This is obviously when she's gonna, yeah, turn cray-cray now. Oh, this is a dark scene, man. She's got murder at the tree here. But who killed her? Black Snake? Who got ALINA? Was she traded for food? Well, even though I traded. Oh, she's like, who killed you? I won't tell you! You're gonna turn you crazy! Like, no! I will never. Here we go. I will burn everything! Here we go. No, ALINA's like, yeah, like, I will murder everyone. This is the problem now. ALINA's like, I won't tell you who killed me. And no, Talo was like, then I will kill everyone. Her solution is like, then I burn the world down! Exactly. Her take on this is like, well, then I have to go after everyone. But yeah, obviously ALINA was gonna die. That's her ego goes crazy. This is the moment that Talo is gonna lose her mind and turn into a psychopathic, sociopath, super dictator. But she's gonna burn it down now. And this, of course, would be the... She's accidentally... I get a goosebump though. It's a good scene though. She accidentally burns down the forest to when Alina dies there, of course, in her anger. That's how it ends. Yeah, that's a sad ending there. Let's review it. So, Alina dies, right? That's how it ends. Again, I'm mostly focused on, the actual message here. I think that's what I like with Arknights in the season. Very focused on her, like, I will not tell you who to hate. And then, of course, Talo is like, now we just kill everyone. Talo's like, burn! Talo is like, let's burn down everyone. Yeah. Who was it? The villagers, the army. She's like, I will burn down everyone. So that's the solution for that, right? But I have to say this one though. I don't think that was super sad because it wasn't too predictable. Of course, we know she will die, obviously. But I have to say, I think the anime did a little too tropey there, in the sense that it was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go and pick up these mushrooms now. I'm just gonna grab my little curl, and go over here. It was a little too much, just like, this is the exact moment it will happen, right? I think it could have been a little bit more, like, shocking when it happened, even though we all know she basically has to get murdered with a sad backstory, but still, you know what I mean, it could have been a little more like surprising, or a little more build up, and it was just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go and get food over there right now next to that war fight over there, and then it's like, so it was a little too much, maybe like setting it up, so to speak, right? But the whole message is interesting, right? Of course, Alina is teen mom, she's a nice girl, doesn't want the war. She's trying to help Taloa, and Frost doesn't want to not go crazy, right? She's trying to like talk them down of being this like crazy war lady. She's like, nah, maybe we can have peace, maybe, She's trying to kind of like roll her back, right? The scene when she called her shallow was a good scene too. The scene was like, you're a better leader now, you learn to talk better, you're better inspiration and so on, you're more confident, but you also turn more black and white, I would say, right? She basically said that Taloa, okay, so you're better at what you're doing right now, but you have more of a simplistic worldview, right, on this war, on the different countries and so forth, right? So it's basically her trying to be like, your path will go to doom, right? Like you're getting more and more evil. That's basically what she's saying to her. Yeah, she's like, you're gonna get more and more evil if you do this thing, and eventually you're gonna lose your mind and become what you are, right? She's kind of trying to help her there, and then of course when she gets murdered, she knows that, well, okay, now Taloa is gonna go crazy. She's gonna turn into a dictator now. Yeah, because but I think the overall storyline though is very well written. Not only is Alina, so to speak, kind of like her moral compass, right? She's overall the person that kind of keeps her, holding her back, and it's like her mom, mostly. Yeah, it's like her bonus mommy, right? She basically raised her, so now I feel. So of course when mommy gets killed, she's like losing her mind, right? Both from like an emotional standpoint, losing her mother / best friend, right? Or whatever she is. But I think Frost is more like her best friend, and again, a little more her mom. But anyway, losing her mom, and then her mom also being the one that like raiding her down to not go crazy, right? Not to kill everyone all the time. But of course now she's unleashed her hatred, right? But yeah, I think as always these episodes are well written because it's a lot of focus on her naivety, right? If you're ignoring the Alina scene, the build-up for it also was great. How she's like, oh, but I don't want to leave anyone behind. I don't want to do these things all, right? And then we see, Popeyes being like, no, that's kind of stupid. Yeah, that's very naive, right? So I think it's a good build-up for how Taloa becomes like basically a crazy dictator, right? Because she used to actually be too nice. She wasn't very pragmatic, right? She was too naive, and then she basically turns evil instead. And I think this is very, common actually, right, in actual politics of war and so on, and tends to be more popularized by people on the left, on the far left, right? Like it's too juvenile, it's too shallow. The worldview again is not pragmatic. So they tend to be like, oh, everyone can have world peace, we can do this thing, let everyone in kind of thing, everyone can get this welfare, whatever, right? And then eventually it's like, oh, it doesn't work at all, right? And in nature, you have an example of this thing, where it has dynamic math modeling for different animals. Usually we show you how this doesn't work, right? So for example, if you remove all the wolves from a forest, so you have all the deer eating food, whatever, right? Now all the deer die because if there's no predators eating the animals that eat the vegetables, right? They will overeat and all the trees will die basically, and then there's no food and everyone dies, right? Like you need to have some kind of balance. This is very classic mathematical example of creels and whales, and if you have too few whales, the krill will go up with 40 or so more, right? So basically, if almost all the whales die, there will be more krill, but then the whales are alive, the few left will eat a lot of krill, so then we have more children, and then the krills are dying, then the whales will die, and then eventually it has like equilibrium in mathematics, and that's kind of where I feel this backstory goes a little bit too, right? I just try to explain to her that, oh, but you can't have, like, you can just kill everyone, everyone can't just survive, right? So it is a lot of depth into it there. She's like trying to like guide her to be like, okay, I understand you're trying to like save your people, end this war or whatever, but your solution is like stupid as hell, right? You know, her solution is mostly this like Superman naivety, right? It's like, oh, you don't have to kill anyone, right? There's also one reason why I love Trigun with Vash. Vash is the same thing, right? But I love it with Vash. He's very, very naive. He's very, very pacifistic, right? The whole idea between Vash and Knives is that Knives is like, you're an idiot because you're trying to basically defeat the bad guy without hurting the bad guy. You're too pacifistic, and what if you have to actually kill the bad guy to save more lives? Why don't you do that for, right? At the classic Trigon scene with Legato, right? He's like, well, you have to kill me or else people will die. Like, will you do it then, you know? It's a very, very good scene, and I think this kind of speaks here too, that you're gonna be more evil if you're too naive. If you try to save everyone all the time, eventually, you know what I mean, eventually everyone will die, right? Yeah, because it's like, the food thing there actually was very interesting, because the literally is like how it is, right, with animals, you know what I mean? Like, she was trying to not abandon anyone, she was trying to not split up the country, you know, kind of the people at all, right? And eventually it's like, oh, we have no food left now, everyone's gonna die. So those guys had to basically be like, oh, we're gonna go that direction, because she said, no, what are our people? It's like, no, we're gonna go that direction, because otherwise everyone would die. Those guys basically have to leave the army, you know, by themselves, from she would kick them out. But a good leader would be like, we have to do this, you know, pragmatic split, right? Or everyone will die. So it really became that, like, it's called equilibrium dynamics there in this anime. There's a lot of depth to it, actually. That's why I like the anime. There's a lot of like survival depth, like, of essence. I hope I made sense in this video. Maybe I should have grass here instead, but it is a very common, like, mathematical thing. I will show you here briefly again. So this is a very common, you know, math dynamic issue, right? So I really like how an Arknight basically explained that. So this here is a very common, like, mathematical issue that you learn in college. So I like how Arknight basically explained it in an anime sense, right? So this here is one blue is krill, the other one is whales, right? So what you see is that, you know, if one goes down too much, the other goes up, so forth. But eventually, they have what is called an equilibrium state, right? Where basically it won't be that many more in all directions, because if too many eats the other one, you know, they all die or whatever, right? So eventually, in an infinite number of years, basically, right, the line is almost like a straight line, right? You know, all the waving things after that, right? And that's kind of what you had in the anime, where you're kind of like, oh, but if too many people are alive in this city, right, and there's no food, then everyone will die. So we have to separate or whatever. We have to do something else, because at this point, it's gonna be going this, and then you just crash, right? And then too many people will die. It's like with deers or whatever in the forest, if there was one. So yeah, I think it's interesting. But maybe I'm reading too much mathematically into this anime, I suppose, right? Anyway, guys, let me subscribe and have a great day.